French court finds Monsanto guilty of poisoning farmer. Ruling says chemicals giant knew of weedkiller's dangers but label lacked warning.
Here's a summary of the article.
A French appeals court has said U.S. chemicals giant Monsanto was guilty of poisoning a farmer who said he suffered neurological damage after accidentally inhaling fumes from a weedkiller made by the company. Paul François, a cereal farmer, had already won previous lawsuits against Monsanto, which was bought by Germany's Bayer last year, in 2012 and 2015. François argued that Monsanto was aware of Lasso's dangers long before it was withdrawn from the French market and sought damages of more than €1 million for chronic neurological damage that led to long hospital stays. The court in Lyon rejected the company's appeal on Tuesday but did not rule on how much Monsanto might have to pay, which will be determined in a separate ruling. In its ruling, the court found that Monsanto should have clearly indicated on Lasso's labeling and instructions for use a notice on the specific dangers of using the product in vats and reservoirs. Speaking after the verdict, a lawyer for Monsanto France, Jean-Daniel Bretzner, said the company would probably appeal, since the ruling applied to Lasso's producer, in this case, Monsanto Europe. The company said it would appeal, as it faces thousands of similar lawsuits in the U.S. Monsanto denies that the weedkiller causes cancer and has challenged findings by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, an arm of the World Health Organization, which classified glyphosate as a probable carcinogen in 2015.
This post received a score of 52,388, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Corporate responsibility will continue to mean absolutely nothing until senior executives face jail time.
And fines actually register on the Richter scale of companies that make billions in profit year on year. A $100 million fine might seem like a lot to almost everyone, but if you pull in $1 billion, that's a fucking drop in the bucket. A better fine system would be to percentage their net income because it would scale. Take that scaling fine and extend it per year for a certain years like corporate prison.
Edit: Finland does this with traffic tickets. A doctor or a lawyer gets a much bigger fine for the same offense as a grocery clerk, but the point is it hurts the same and hence deters the same, which is the point of the penalty.
Unless something changed recently we don't, however Finland does.
Damn. My apologies for confusing my progressive Scandinavian laws. Edited to fix.
It might look like it hurts the same, but if I have 5K and you take 1K, I only have 4K left. The lawyer, if you take 10K out of his 50K, still had 40K. Not saying that it didn't hurt, just that it still might not be the same.
Unfortunately we don't live in a perfect world, but the man's point still stands. If you and the lawyer both pay 1K, then he's going to do it 9 more times till he starts to even feel the fine. You do it 9 more times and you're broke and still owe 5K. Edit: Morale of the story: don't be a cunt without a solution.
Morale of the story: don't feed the troll. I've been hearing ads on the radio from such and such law firm advertising suing over Roundup cancer things lately, ever since that first major lawsuit. I wonder if Bayer thought this would actually happen when they bought Monsanto? It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
It's the new, if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, except you were sold this carcinogen that was labeled safe.
And is sprayed on all our fucking food.
All I can say is that if Nate Dogg was alive we could have put him in charge of all of this to regulate so that people wouldn't get sick. Regulators, round up.
I am now blasting this in my headphones at the food bank.
Just to remind everyone, Monsanto was bought out, is now part of Bayer. Remember this when the legal system catches up and it becomes Farmer v. Bayer.
Bayer has always been a far worse player than Monsanto. One could argue that Monsanto was merely greedy. Bayer is everything that people accused Monsanto of being, according to publicly available records.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.